Did the recent banning save standard? Let's take some budget Soul Sisters out for a spin and try to find out. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. And our goal this week is pretty simple. So a week ago, we had some huge bans in Standard. So today we're trying to figure out if Standard is saved. Did the ban list update save the Standard format? And there's a few different ways that we can tell if Standard is saved. But one of my favorites is to play Soul Sisters, because if Soul Sisters can actually keep up and win games in a format, that's a pretty good sign that the format's in a good place. So today, we're heading to our new post-ban Standard format to play some budget Soul Sisters. So let's talk about the deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, and see if we actually found some cards that might be good in Soul Sisters. So since we're playing Standard, we don't get literal Soul Sisters, but if you don't know what Soul Sisters is, the whole idea of the deck is to play things that gain you life, and then play a bunch of things that are payoffs for gaining life. So traditionally, the Soul Sisters are Soul Warden and Soul Attendant. They don't exist in Standard, but thankfully, we have our Standard versions of our Soul Sisters. Hinterland Sanctifier, essentially a bunny Soul Sister, except it only works on our creatures, which is a downgrade compared to like literal Soul Warden, but still as good as it gets for Standard. Keys of an Eaten Feast, same thing, but on an enchantment, and if we gain 5 life, we salve it and can sack it to cast our creatures from the graveyard, which is pretty relevant against some decks. Life Creed Duo, only a 1-of, but essentially a 2-mana flying Soul Sister. And then Authority of the Consuls is not a Soul Sister, because it doesn't gain us life whenever one of our creatures enter, but it's kind of a reverse Soul Sister. Whenever one of our opponent's creatures enter, we gain a life. And if you look at the payoffs in our deck, which are Ajani Primate, Essence Channeler, Harrieth Gainburrow, Minu White Mage, these are cards that grow whenever we gain a life. So even though we don't trigger Authority of the Consuls when we play a creature, we get to trigger all of our stuff as our opponent plays creatures. So it's kind of funny. Authority you usually think of as like mono red hate, but in our deck, it's basically just good against any deck that's playing creatures because it's triggering all of our stuff. So how do we actually win the game with Soul Sisters? So step 1 is play the Soul Sisters that gain us life. Step 2 is we have all these cards that start off relatively small, but grow into massive threats as we gain life. So Ajani Primate, a Grizzly Bear, that when we gain life gets a +1/+1 counter. Essence Channeler, a 2-mana 2/1, that when we gain life, it gets a +1/+1 counter. When it dies, its counter is moved to something else. Basically an upgraded Ajani's Primate. Can even gain flying sometimes if we lose life. Harrieth Gainburrow, actually not that great in our deck. It's just a 1-of. It's essentially a 3-mana Ajani's Primate because our only other legend is 1 Minwu, so we don't have legends to put its counters on, but still has lifelink, it grows. And then Minwu is like a super payoff for Soul Sisters because whenever we gain life, we put a counter on each cleric we control, which means along with growing Minwu, we also grow Aerith, we also grow Essence Channeler. So that's the basic plan of the deck. Hopefully on turn 1, turn 2, get down some of the Soul Sister effects, and then play these payoffs that every time a creature enters gaining us life, which means every time a creature enters is growing our creatures. Next thing you know, Johnny's Primate's like a 10-10 and just smashing our opponent to death in a few attacks. We also have some card advantage, so we need to be able to keep up with the grindy decks. For this, we have Enduring Innocence, which triggers on almost all of our creatures to draw a card once a turn, and then Exemplar of Light, kind of another Ajani's Primate, but it's a 4-mana 3/3 flying Ajani's Primate. When we gain life, it gets a counter, and when it gets a counter, we draw a card once a turn. So another way we can draw a bunch of cards. So these just keep us churning through our deck, finding more action. As far as removal, one of the things I love about this deck is literally every single card gains us life. Either it is an Ajani's Primate effect that grows when we gain life, or it gains us life. So even our removal spells are actually life gain spells. Sheltered by Ghosts gets rid of anything and gives our creature lifelink, so it triggers all of our payoffs. Battle Menu can blow up a big creature, or it can make a instant speed 2/2 Knight, which triggers all of our Soul Wardens to get a bunch of triggers, or it can pump or just straight up gain us life. And then Restoration Magic, I absolutely love in this deck. It's a protection spell to save our Johnny's Primate or whatever, but also if we tier it and spend a little more mana, it gains us life too, so it's an instant speed way that we can gain more life to trigger our stuff and catch our opponent by surprise. Mana base, pretty simple. 21 planes, 3 Fountain Ports. Fountain Port is basically just here to make creatures, to trigger all of our Soul Wardens, to gain us more life, to grow all of our threats. In the sideboard, we get a bunch of removal for aggro, Cathar's Commando to deal with artifacts and enchantments, more Restoration Magics for control, Soul Guide Lantern for graveyards, and that is Soul Sisters for post-ban Standard. And that's our budget Magic deck for today. So let's jump into some games and see if Standard saved and if Soul Sisters is actually good now. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. It is budget magic time. And I have a simple theory about standard, which is if Souls, oh god, this hand's horrible. Mulligan. This is kind of better. My theory is if Soul Sisters is good, then standard is good. So today, we're playing some budget Soul Sisters to see if standard is actually saved thanks to the bannings. And this hand seems okay. No one drop to gain life, which is very important to the deck, but I don't know what our opponent's doing. Dimir with artifact shenanigans, apparently. Huh? Forging the Anchor, I have no idea what our opponent's doing. Just gold things. Let's get down to Johnny's Pridemate, which will be good once we start gaining life. If we start gaining life, opponent going to deduce. And, oh, miss a land drop. Well, time for Area of Gainsborough. Yeah, lands. Lands indeed, opponent. Land. I never know how to respond to lands, am I right? I don't have I don't have a good emote to respond to that. Opponent. Gonna kill the Aerith. Sure. Aerith's not actually good in this deck anyway, because we don't actually have legends, so Aerith is essentially just a 3-mana Johnny's Pridemate. It does have lifelink, though. That part is nice. 3-mana lifelinking a Johnny's Pridemate. Opponent. All right, well, artifact ramp. Sure. We're doing it. Well, let's make a fish. Make a fish, lose a life. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna Sheltered by Goes. I don't know how much we care about exiling this random ramp spell, but it does give us lifelink. We are growing a Johnny's Pridemate in hard mode. Normally we want a Soul Sister on the battlefield, but I guess Sheltered by Goes. Wow, an opponent scoops it up, and I don't know what's going on in Opponentville, but Soul Sisters. I don't know if we can learn much from this match, but we'll take it. I don't even know what to bring in. I guess artifact removal makes sense. Bring in the Cathar Commandos. We didn't really see a whole lot. What do we cut? Yeah, I guess maybe Authority. Yeah, that seems fine. Authority's kind of funny in this deck, because even if we're not up against an aggro deck, as long as our opponent's a creature deck, it's still kind of good, because it's like a reverse Soul Sister, pretty much, where we gain a life whenever our opponent plays a creature, which still triggers all of our stuff. Ooh, all right, this hand's kind of slow, but still no Soul Sisters. We'll see how good these Exemplar of Lights are. We have all of our card advantage engines, which is nice. Opponent. Oh, Golbez. I see. I do think that Golbez is the kind of card that gets a lot better from the bannings. Just like a 1/4 blocker actually means something now. When a 1/4 blocker before meant pretty much nothing. We'll have to see. I mean, maybe aggro is not a huge part of the meta, and then it won't really matter. But well, let's get down the Cathar Commando. Get a little attacker going. I'm a little nervous I could have a counter. Let's get in Hitcha. We're still gonna run out Enduring Innocent. Well, all right, opponent. I don't know what they're doing. Playing artifact stuff. Grim Bobble. Going to take down Cathar Commando, sure. Don't want it blowing up their artifacts, that makes sense. Maybe they're a synthesizer deck. If they play a synthesizer, Phyrexian Flesh Gorger, gonna do little scrying. Get in, hit us down to 18. Well, all right, let's play the land. We might have to take a turn off and play some Hinterland Sanctifiers here to get some life gain going, and we get to draw a card. No, ooh, okay. Well, that's kind of better. Now we can just commando down the Flesh Gorger, and we gain a life since we finally have found a Soul Sister. Blow up the Flesh Gorger. Get in, Hitcha. This is gonna make the Exemplars of Lights much better. Exemplar of Light with no Soul Sister out's pretty not great. But when we immediately get to draw a card and get a counter on it, it gets a lot better. Liliana. What are we doing with Lily, opponent? Taken down. All right, well, we will just sack Enduring Innocence since it comes back anyway. Be nice if we could draw another land. A land would be good. Then we can Sanctifier into... Okay, that works. So now we can play Hinterland Sanctifier. Draw a card. Off the Enduring Innocence. The deck draws a decent amount of cards for being a Soul Sister deck, and Exemplar of Light. Gonna do a little triggering. Draw a card from gaining light. Oh, don't kill it. Don't kill the Angel. Well, all right. So much for drawing a card off the Angel. Thankfully, we got another one. We still gain some life. I feel like we're in pretty good shape here. we're kind of outdrawing our opponent's Dimir deck with Soul Sister somehow. Opponent gonna take up Lily. Well, we will discard the land. Opponent pitches an Oil Deep Gearhulk. So they're just like, maybe it's a repurposing bait deck? I don't really know. Some sort of artifact deck. It might be a synthesizer deck that just never drew a synthesizer and is looking a little bit janky. Well, let's play the Exemplar Flight. Trigger the Sanctifier, draw a card, and opponent has had enough and, well, okay. Easy mode, we will take it. Not sure what our opponent's doing, but Soul Sisters. Sweet. Budget magic time. We are finding out, oh no, another mulligan. Ooh, this hand, okay, this hand's good. This hand's actually good. 2 Soul Sisters and a Pridemate, most popular card on Magic Arena, and even some protection. But we're trying to find out if Soul Sisters is good, because if Soul Sisters is good, then Standard is good. Also Rhinos, we're gonna have to play another Rhino deck, because if ooh, all right, opponent. Lush Portico, all right, we got some dual lands going on over there. Yeah, let's get down the Pridemate. Start growing our cat. It still cracks me up that Pridemate is the single most crafted card on Arena. Found it. Fear missing out. Oh, this might be Yuna. I feel like, ooh, Overlord of the Boiler Biggles. I feel like ooh, okay. Well. Yeah, let's play the Pridemate. We're gonna leave up, I think. We're gonna leave up the protection. We could have played the Hinterland and got more counters. This still grows the Pridemates big enough that we can attack through the Fear missing out. And I feel like we might as well leave up. Opponent's got a million cards in hand. We do not. I think we have to protect the cards that we do have at this point and try to win with these Pridemates. But as I was saying, it still cracks me up that it's the single most crafted card. That is a very Magic Arena, a very Magic Arena thing about it. Gonna play a Joshua. Gonna do a little looting. Boy, that graveyard has some heat in it. If our opponent finds a Yuna, we might be in a scary spot. Well, let's play Hinterland Sanctifier. This game, we have not drawn any card advantage, but we do have a couple of Big Johnny's Pridemates that are maybe threatening to close out the game pretty quick, don't it? I don't think anyone expects Restoration Magic. I feel like Restoration Magic, I think we're gonna get value out of it at some point, because no one plays around Restoration Magic in Standard, and it gains life, so it even grows our stuff. It's like, it's actually oddly perfect for this deck. It'll be even more perfect when Sunfall rotates, because then it can fizzle an entire Wrath. Right now, if someone Sunfalls, and I expect Sunfall might make a comeback over the next few months. Next month until rotation. Summon Burnhilder. All right, sure, you're gonna do a little impulse drawing, and we gotta close this one out quick, because that is the Yuna. And that coming down to reanimate and give everything lifelink, or all the enchantment creatures lifelink. Oh, Authority of the Consuls actually might be relevant here. That might actually slow down the Yuna just so. We'll see what our opponent does. So they can't block with the Summon Burnhilder if they want to play the Yuna. Oh, we gotta keep it alive. We gotta keep it alive. All right, Restoration Magic. Yeah, we have to. It hurts to waste it, but Restoration Magic. Tear it up, gain some life, make it indestructible, kill the Joshua. Yeah, I think that's fine. They can keep the FOMO, and then we'll play Authority. That's gonna be interesting. So can they play the Yuna this turn? So they need a land. If they can't play Yuna this turn, oh my goodness, okay. Well, that is a relief. Opponent has a Surveillance land. That's huge. That is really big. Another Joshua, sure. Well, I guess we should have killed the FOMO. Triggers Authority. This is what I was saying about Authority being like a reverse Soul Sister. Do we need this Joshua to be tapped? Not really. Although I guess it can't block, so it does something. But it's still growing our Pridemates that have just stuck around all game. Opponent actually has to... Oh, we got rid of the Yuna too. Because opponent has to double block or we make a fish for lethal. Opponent blocks. Okay, wow, did we actually fade that Yuna? Now I think we might be good. Because even if they get a Yuna, it's going to be tapped. Whatever they reanimate is going to be tapped. Flipping Joshua, I don't think does it. They gain 2 up to 9, but then we make a fish, grow. We might just have it. I think we might have gotten it. There are some good enchantments in the graveyard. I feel like Yuna might actually be a real deck. Oh, there, speaking of Yuna. Well, there's Yuna. Hope of Spira. Comes in to play tap, thankfully. Triggers all of our stuff. Grows the Pridemates. And then opponent can reanimate, but that's also tapped. and then they just die, right? Joshua's not enough. They need to get back like White Overlord, but the tokens are tapped too, and wow. All right. We might have got a little lucky to survive that one, but not going to complain. So how do we sideboard against this deck? Graveyard Hate definitely seems good. A bit more removal, maybe. Enchantment removal definitely seems good. The question is going to be, can we find room for all of this? We can cut the one-ofs. Go down. Oh, man. Maybe Restoration Magic. We didn't see a lot of removal out of the deck, so it might be safe to cut the Restoration Magics. I pretty much never want to cut Enduring Innocence. I feel like the card advantage engines in the deck are really, really important to making the deck actually function. Yeah, it's going to be hard to find this amount of room. The Authority was really good that game, but this feels like the kind of matchup where we might have to cut it just for space. I think it's fine in basically any creature matchup, but we might rather have enchantment removal and Graveyard Hate against a Yuna deck. Maybe, so Sheltered by Ghosts is great, but it can't kill Yuna at instant speed. So I can see the argument for cutting one of those. Maybe cutting Authority. Yeah, let's try something like that. Close enough. Close enough. I mean, we're going to keep this. We can't not keep this hand. This is one of those hands that if we had one of the 1-mana Soul Sisters, either Case of an Eaten Feast or Hinterland Sanctifier, this hand would be great. As it is, it's fine. I like that we have this Old Guide Lantern. That is our budget go. So many Johnny Bridemates. Our budget goes vacuum, basically. What do we got? Yuna? Land. Fear of Missing Out. Gonna do a bit of looting. Loots away. Wow, all right. Loots away the... All right. Johnny's Pridemate number 3. If we ever find a way to gain life, look out, opponent. Our cats are gonna get big. But this hand desperately wants a Soul Sister. Oh no, my God, seriously? Wait, did we just draw 3 Pridemates in a row? Okay. Might have to pull out the Hypergeometric calculator for that one. What are the odds of drawing 3 Johnny Pridemates in a row? Opponent gonna torch the tower. Johnny Pridemate 1 down. We need an Johnny's Pridemate that you can play any number of in a deck. I'm sure we're like a decade away from that. It's coming. Opponent. All right. So this is looking a little scary. That's a decent... Okay, that's a land. That's a land. Well, let's get down the Enduring Innocence to maybe draw some cards in the future. Can we survive the Flyers? Overlords, I think, are still good, even without Up the Beanstalk. They were obviously insane. Insane with Up the Beanstalk. But, yeah, let's do a little chumping. We get back the Innocence anyway, and we grow the Ajani's Pridemate. And this helps fizzle some of the damage. We gotta not, even though our life gain deck, we gotta not get too low here. Yeah, let's play the Pridemate. Trigger Enduring Innocence, draw a card. Okay, Fountain Port's a land, that counts. 1, and let's get down Soul Guide Lantern. Their graveyard does not look super scary at the moment, but I still think it's worth having it down just in case. Maybe we can gain enough. Man, I wish we had a Soul Sister. I wish we had a life gain creature. That's what we're missing at the moment. At least we're hitting our land drops now. And we've drawn every Johnny's Pridemate, so we don't have to worry about drawing more of those. Opponent gets in, hits us. Literally everyone, all 4. Opponent, summon Fenrir. I'm gonna get their ramp on. Opponent gonna grab a forest. And unimpens. Well, I think we're actually just going to draw a card here. Our opponent's graveyard's not really scaring me. They didn't do anything with it. There is finally a Soul Sister. Now we can start growing our dorks. Case of an Eaten Feast. That is what we were missing. And then let's just... Do we just Enduring Innocence? Yeah, let's just... Enduring Innocence. Triggers the case, gains us a life, grows the Pridemates. We still would not mind just hitting more lands. The eternal struggle of hitting lands. I think we got to stay on defense this turn. We're getting our Pridemates big enough they can actually block. I know, block. What is this strange archaic concept? But it's back. You can actually, there's this thing you used to be able to do in Magic. When your opponent attacked you, you could put one of your creatures in front of their creatures to soak up the damage. We kind of stopped doing that for a while in the Monstrous Rage era, but now it's back. Opponent has Terra. Whiffs with Terra, but Terra can still flip next turn, and Terra flipping and copying the Overlord is really bad. We gotta kill the Overlord this turn. Thankfully, we can. We can use the battle menu to get rid of it. Well, play another Soul Sister. Now we're going to start getting some big... Let's see if we can get back in this. We might have a shot now. Ooh, Sheltered by Ghost, too. We'll play the land. How much removal do we need? So we can play another... We can get Pridemate Tron down, or we can go double removal. So we Sheltered by Ghost. Get rid of Terra. I am worried, a little worried about Terra. Yeah, let's just put it on the Pridemate. That's the one that's going to gain us the most life eventually, once we can actually attack with it. And they can't torch the tower it, which is good. All right, so get down Shelter by Ghost. Snipe the Terra for now. And then we'll just battle menu. Battle menu with Overlord. And I guess we might as well just do that now too. I don't know what Standard is also fresh and new right now. I don't know what random protection they could possibly have. Or maybe I'm just paranoid because we have Restoration Magic in our deck. So I have Protection on the mind. It's so funny, but because of Torch the Tower, I think it's actually right just to chump attack here. Our opponent can kill it. That's fine. But once it dies and comes back as an enchantment, they can't Torch the Tower it anymore. Plus, we get to grow our Pridemates, which also is not a bad thing. I feel like we're back in this now. We slog through the Terra. Ew, all right. So much for slogging through the Terra. The Terra's back. Opponent, get lost on the Sheltered by Ghosts. Whiffs again. The Terra whiffed twice. Opponent does not have any Terra luck. I can't say anything because we played the new Satyr Wayfinder on stream the other day, and that just hard whiffed. So the good news is now. Oh, okay. Yuna doesn't really have anything great to reanimate though. Are we dead? All right, opponent gets in. Well, we're gonna block the Joshua. Drop to 6. It should just be yeah. Overlord's back. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. Huh. So now we have to deal with the Overlord again, and there's a million flyers. Well, let's gain some life. Essence Channeler. Trigger. Gain some life. The Pridemates are big enough they can actually just block the Overlord, and our opponent's out of cards. Remove. Okay, Cathar Commando is good. That is removal that can kill the Overlord. I imagine if I was our opponent, I would be thinking, all right, what I'm going to do here is I am going to flip my Terra, copy the Overlord, and then I'm going to win the game. This is actually hilarious. So our opponent can hit us for 8, but we can gain a life by playing the Cathar Commando. Actually, like 3 life. Our opponent can actually hit us for 10, can't they, with the Fear missing out? But we can gain life up to 11. So our opponent can hit us to 1. The Cathar Commando can snipe the Overlord if they flip the Terra. Or I guess even if they don't, we can't let it attack. Get in with the Pridemate. Hit you. Down to 12. The Pridemate's up to an 8-8. Okay, this is going to be very close, but it might work. Opponent. All right. So opponent's going to flip it. Going to copy an enchantment. Going to be the Overlord. Well, in response, Cathar Commando. Trigger... It's funny, if we just had like a Get Lost, we would have died here. It actually had to be a creature with flash that could blow up an enchantment. So we very specifically needed Cathar Commando to survive this turn. But as it is, we gain up to 11. We blow up the Overlord, so our opponent doesn't get a copy of it. They can beat us down to 1 if they want to. They would have to chump attack with their Fear missing out. Doing the math. Wow, just passes. Okay, I guess they're worried about our massive Pridemates. The problem now is we're dead in the air. So I think, okay, wow, this is actually hilarious. So what we have to do, man, this game ended up being ridiculously close. So play the Essence Channeler. So our goal for this turn is to salve the cases. And then we can use the case. So play the Hinterland. This should be enough to gain us enough life to salve the cases. Also grows our dorks. The case, I believe, yeah, we can use it during any turn and cast creatures from the graveyard, which I've never done this before, but I think what we do is, on our opponent's upkeep, we sack the case, because we can't do it until it salves end step. Upkeep, flashback the Cathar Commando, blow up the Esper Terra, and then I think we're actually good. We're also back to 17. Like, the life gain is finally stacking up. Soul Sister doing Soul Sisters things. Opponent gonna black with their flyers. And we will solve the last problem. Oh, what a What a line. I did not even consider that sacking Case of an Eat and Feast on your opponent's turn might be a thing, but it is the perfect. This Cathar Commando literally won us the game. Cathar Commando, the one creature in the graveyard, flash it back in, trigger all of our stuff, gain a bunch of life, and opponent scoops it up. And I mean, I feel like Yuna's gonna be good in Standard. It just might not be Soul Sister as good. We are finding out if Standard is, oh my god, another All-Lander. Okay, man, so many Pridemates. I mean, especially being on the mulligan, it's fine. I think we just put one of the Pridemates to the bottom. The question's gonna be, do we run out of Pridemate on 2, or do we wait until after we play our Enduring? Yeah, I think we're gonna wait. I think we'd rather draw a card off Enduring Innocence here. Oh my god, Control. Might be Blue-White. I feel like Blue-White Control gets a lot better with the Mannings. Oh, where were you on turn 1, Case of an Eat and Feast? Well, at least we resolved Enduring Innocence. If our opponent countered that, that would be bad news. Opponent looking at the Enduring Innocence. As long as you can't, if you kill it, that's fine. Just don't exile it. We just want the card draw. We don't even really care about the body. And passes. Even more Enduring Innocence. Man, let's play the Case. I think we go Case Pridemate. A counter is a very realistic. I'm assuming they're Blue-White Control. We haven't seen enough to really know, but that's just my guess. Because I feel like Blue-White Control gets a lot better with the Mannings. It's one of the deck that dodged, and stock up's still very good. Ardo-Kane. Opponent's going to get lost on the Enduring Innocence. Sure. That's fine. We still get to draw a card, which is all we really cared about anyway. All right, Plains is actually not bad. Yeah, let's actually leave up Restoration Magic. We're all in on the Pridemate again. Here comes the cat. Found it, land. It's kind of funny, Pridemate's still like, yes, there's better versions of it now. I mean, we're even playing Essence Channeler in the deck, which is mostly just a better Johnny's Pridemate, but it still kind of holds up. Even, man, what are we, 15 years after they first printed it? I'm gonna draw some cards. This does mean our opponent's shield's down, so we should be able to get down Enduring Innocence at least. Maybe we just outdraw the control deck. Enduring Innocence, trigger the Enduring Innocence, trigger the Case of an Eat and Feast, draw some cards, grow the Pridemate. Sheltered by Ghost, not looking super great at the moment. I just don't know what our opponent has to exile. We'll see. They probably got what? Jace, Meringue River Regent, something like that. Can you beat in a Johnny's Pridemate control deck? Biza. Okay, that's something that's exilable at least. Opponent gonna gain their life back up to 20. Ooh, all right, there's a Soul Sister. Get down a Hinterland Sanctifier. Draw a couple of cards, gain a little bit of life. Well, there's the Essence Channeler too, and another Pridemate. We've been very good at drawing Pridemates so far. We're just gonna stay on defense. So I think rather than run out another Pridemate, up against the control deck, they could have a Wrath. Plus, we have the Fountain Port. So, worst case, we always just make a fish, end step, draw 2 cards. So I feel like this is a good time to pass and not overextend our precious Pridemates into a Ultima or Sunfall or something. Sunfall would be the worst. That even gets around Restoration. Oh no. Oh no. This attack makes me think our opponent's going to be Wrathin. Otherwise, it doesn't make much sense. Well, block and block. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it's not actually Sunfall. Okay, Day of Judgment, that's fine. I was wondering if it was a mistake not to block with Enduring Innocence, just to get it out of creature mode. We're not even going to bother to save anything. We got more Johnny's Pridemates where that came from. Instead, we'll just make a fish, gain a life, draw some cards. Well, play the land. And let's rebuild. Do you have another Wrath opponent? Essence Channeler. Draw a card, draw a card. Well, get him with a fish. Gotta send a message. Yeah, let's just Essence Channeler. I think that's fine. So we have so many cards that drawing 2 more cards, I guess, doesn't have that much value here. So I think it's better start building a board. We still have up Restoration Magic, so we can protect something if our opponent has even more sweepers. About it. What do we find with the stock up opponent? Couple of cards. Passing. All right. Well, I mean, that's fine with us. Let's play a Pridemate. We've actually reached the point where we're just going to be able to fully tier up the Restoration Magic. And if our opponent's on like non-Sunfall Wraths, I think we might actually be able to save our entire team. Whether or not we actually want to leave up that amount of mana. Yeah, but we have the Fountain Port, so it's not that painful. Yeah, get and hit you. See what our opponent's got. I mean, this is a pretty big attack. For being, what, 2 turns after a Wrath? We already have 10 power attacking. Having the 2 Enduring Innocence is huge. Like, we're actually just destroy evil. Yeah, sure. It doesn't even really do much of anything, because we get to put all the counters on the other one anyway, so it doesn't actually soak up that much damage. And yeah, we'll just pass and start discarding Sheltered by Ghosts. We actually have presented lethal. Yeah, I'm curious. So we've actually just outdrawn the control deck with Enduring Innocence. If we didn't have the engine going, this probably would look a lot worse. But the fact that we've got 2 Enduring Innocence going, it is actually, wow, opponent is hardcore on the card draw. Memories returning on top of the Stock Ups. So opponent going to take the Meringue River Regent. We will put, I think we put a No More Lies back because they could actually cast it this turn and they can't cast 3 steps ahead. So we want to make them pick the 3 steps ahead if they want it. And then we'll get rid of the, all right, so we'll get rid of the other No More Lies. I think this actually worked out fine just because our opponent can't immediately use 3 steps ahead. Get lost. Well, I think that is reason enough to do a little restoration magic here, and that should just be game, right? Protect it, fish it, grow it, and a Johnny's Pride mate. Better than blue white control. Wait, watch this Soul Sisters actually be a real deck. I would be so happy if we had a real Soul Sisters deck in Standard and it was budget friendly. Well, I mean, you gotta bring in the Commandos. The Commandos are just good in every matchup, apparently. I had someone tell me they play just four Reclamation Sage in their elf decks, and it's actually worth it, they say. I don't know if I'm convinced. They actually want to play 4 Rex Sages. That seems like a lot, but we do get a lot of powerful artifacts and enchantments. I was thinking about it. I think it's partly a Commander thing. Like, artifacts and enchantments are some of the most popular themes in Commander. So I think we're getting more and more good artifacts and enchantments for Commander decks, which then filters through the rest of the formats, which I think is kind of sweet. What makes me more scared? It's not Commander. It's Wizards bringing back Affinity for artifacts scares me, just because they must think they've got it down this time. But back in the day, Affinity for artifacts was kind of like a Storm level broken mechanic. Well, this hand, we got a couple of Soul Sisters, which is good. Hinterland Sanctifier, Case of Uneaten Feast. Smack you with the bunny. Actually, I don't even know if it's worth it. They could have Flash, they could have Ride's End. We'll just leave it back. That 1 damage hopefully is not gonna matter here. Opponent land and passes. Oh boy. We're gonna keep passing. We're not even gonna play Ariath into the open mana. We know our opponent's got a million counters because we saw them last game. Ugh, all right, pass the turn. It's a lot of planes. Ooh, opponent missing land drop though. Okay. Well, that's one thing we're not doing. Actually, we're just gonna keep waiting. So next turn we can play a 3-drop and pay for No More Lies. And since our opponent's missing land drops, I don't think we want to. All right, opponent's gonna get lost. Get lost on the bunny. And since our opponent's missing land drops, I don't know if we want to give them an easy counter target this past turn. Well, let's play Ariath. This will be our bait spell. If our opponent like 3 steps ahead, then we can, well, all right, opponent's just gonna let it go. Ariath, like I said before, actually not that great in this deck. It's okay. But we really couldn't embrace the legendary theme. There's just not enough legends. We have 1 Minwu, but we don't have enough legends that really work with the theme. Do we want to protect this? I don't think so. Sure, Ariath down. The real reward is resolving Enduring Innocence. That's the card, as we saw in game 1. That's the card that gives us enough cards to actually just fight through the control deck. So that's what this is really all about, is getting to the point where we can resolve Enduring Innocence. The sub-game, the card draw sub-game. I mean, we can protect it if it resolves. Yeah, let's just play the life. The problem is our opponent, we know they have a handful of action because they're missing land drops. Let's get down the duel. Let's crack the map. See if we can set something up for next turn. Well, another land. We are definitely not missing land drops. I will give our deck that. Map number 2. All right. Essence Channeler, good enough to keep. Can you beat a 2-3 flyer opponent? I mean, they have to have a handful of removal encounters, right? Like, it's not lands. What else is... it's not Meringue River Regent, because they'd be drawing cards. What else could they possibly have in hand other than a whole bunch of removal encounters? What else could it even be? So if you're wondering why I'm playing so cautiously around counter spells, like, if our opponent was hitting their land drops, I would be much more likely to be like, oh, we'll just run stuff out. All right, opponent has a No More Lies for the Cathar Commando. But because they're not hitting their land drops, I'm way more nervous. Finally, though, I think this means we get to resolve the Enduring Innocence. Opponent's only got 2 mana, so they can't have a hard counter. We can pay for No More Lies, and we've flooded out so much, we actually can just play Essence Channeler, still pay for No More Lies, start drawing some cards. Oh, okay. Well, it took a lot of time and a lot of effort, but we got to the point where we Minwu. We got to the point where we managed to get down our Enduring Innocence, which is a legitimately huge deal. That is the card that we needed to resolve, and we did. Well, let's crack the map. Might as well put it on the Essence Channeler since, yeah, all right, Exemplar Light. That's fine. Put it on the Essence Channeler since if it dies, we're gonna get the counter someplace else anyway. Opponent, get lost the Case of an Eaton Feast. Sure. I mean, that is 1 Soul Sister down. And a Day of Judgment. I feel like we have to protect the Soul Sister. So it's counterintuitive, but I feel like the most important card, because we have this Exemplar Light in the top of our deck. Yeah, let's Restoration Magic. On the Flying Soul Sister, we get back the Enduring Innocence. We get the counters on the Bat. And now we get to get down Exemplar Flight, draw a card, gain a life. No, Fountain Port's not horrible. Let's crack the map. We're gonna hold on to the Minwu. Get in, hit ya. Yeah, we can just make efficient instant speed. Hit ya. Wow, we have kind of ground our way through this control deck so far. Opponent finds the land. Day of Judgment again. Well, let's make the fish in response. Trigger our stuff so we draw 2 cards. Sheltered by Ghosts and Authority of the Consuls. All right, not the best in the matchup, but we did find a Pridemate, and Pridemate's pretty good. Johnny's Pridemate. Draw a card. We're out of Soul Sisters though, which is awkward. Yeah, I mean we're gonna play the Authority. I don't know how relevant it'll be. Actually, probably was worth sideboarding out. Actually, they just don't have enough creatures to trigger it. About it. I feel like Stock Up's gonna be fine. I don't know, like, compared to Monstrous Rage or Manifold Mouse or Cutter, I don't get that feeling when someone casts a Stock Up. I don't have that, like, oh my god, this is so oppressive or whatever. Stock Up, I'm like, okay, you cast a good divination. I don't know, maybe 6 months from now I will be singing a different tune, but for now I'm like, yeah, Stock Up, I kind of like, I like drawing cards. Stock Up's fine. It's like good at what it does, but I think its play rate was as much a product of what the meta looked like pre-bannings as the actual power of Stock Up. Not that it's not powerful, but it was just in the right colors and the right decks, I think, to be really good. Ooh, Jace. Okay, how bad is this for us? 33. Okay, so two Jaces is a problem. I don't think we quite have lethal here, right? So they Jace. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shelter by Ghost is 8. Oh, so we're so close. We don't have a Soul Sister though. Actually, Restoration Magic, does that do it? So play the Minwu, play the land. Sheltered by Ghost on the Pridemate. Go to combat, get it. 3, 6, 7, 8, and then Restoration Magic for the life gain. I don't think our opponent knew they were dead, but, well, we beat the control deck, and we're out of gold. Soul Sisters, ranking up. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And this hand actually looks kind of wonderful. 2 Soul Sisters into an upgraded Ajani's Pridemate into some card draw. That is kind of what we want. Well, get down the Case of an Eaton Feast. Ship the turn. I think it generally makes sense on turn 1 if you have both to play the Case, because the Sanctifier will trigger the Case won't trigger the Sanctifier on turn 2. Play the land. Get down Authority of the Consuls. And, I mean, play the Sanctifier. Well, this should be interesting. it looks like we might be up against Dimir. And I think that Dimir is a pretty popular pick for best deck coming out of the bannings. We're going to play Enduring Innocence. We really need this to resolve. Please. Okay. Well, that's not great. Opponent. Preacher. Bump. At least it's tapped. Well, play the Sanctifier. Gain some life. Play the Essence Channeler. Gain a bunch of life. Grow the Essence Channeler. Yeah, without the card draw engine of Enduring Innocence, I'm a little nervous they're just gonna grind us out eventually. Ren, ooh, that's actually kind of annoying. Okay, kind of forgot about Ren. Ren, when Bloomborough came out, I was like, my God, that seems like a pretty good card. Found it. Getting in with the Preacher, making a token, hits us. One of the nice things about gaining so much life is it is hard for our opponent to draw with Preacher. Well, how about a Life Crafters duo? Trigger our stuff a bunch. I mean, I guess we're just in... I mean, that is a big... it's a big Essence Channeler, although because of Ren, it doesn't die. So we don't get its counters on anything if they can kill it. And kill it they can. Oh, yeah. All right, Ren doing some work. Oh, we were potentially one attack away. Fauna gets in. Hits us. Now, I guess we could have blocked the token. I don't know. Yeah, that was probably a slight mistake there to not block the token. Oh, okay. Shelter by Ghosts. Well, let's put it on the duo. See if it even sticks. Flood Pit's Drowner. Well, now I think I want to get rid of the Friend. But if we get rid of the Friend, they just are going to tuck it with the Drowner? I mean, we can't pay the ward. Oh, but then we're just going to lose it and they get the Friend. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Drowner means we have to exile the Drowner. At some point, we can sack the Case of Uneaten Feast. We have salved it. However, because of the Friend, we only have one Enduring Innocence in the graveyard anyway, so it doesn't do that much. Yeah, our opponent's just going so wide. We're at 31. But we don't have any Wraths in this deck, so keep that in mind. Like, we don't have a reset button. Opponent gets in. Preacher makes a token. Sure. We take it down to 25. Deep Cavern Bat, just to get a body on the battlefield. All right, deck. Give us something. Ooh, it's slipping away. It's slipping away. Opponent untaps. Oh, I know it with Affliction. Gets back to Flood Pit. Yeah. I think we're actually pretty close to... I know someone's going to look at this and be like, but you're at 27. They're only at 7. Aren't you winning? No. I wish that was true. But in Magic, a lot of times, the battlefield matters way more than life totals. We need some sort of miraculously good draw here. Sheltered by Ghosts is not exactly it. Yep. Good job. That Ren was very impressive. I wonder if we see Ren make a comeback. I feel like worst case. So I think people still play Shieldred. I've seen a lot of Shieldred in black decks. I feel like worst case, after rotation, Ren might show up in the Shieldred slot in a lot of Dimir decks. Sideboard wise, we don't have... I mean, Dimir's just a good mid-range deck, so it's not like you can bring in anything that's just going to straight up, destroy Dimir. But a little bit of removal seems good. All right, on to game number 2. Oh, 1 land, 1 keep. 1 land, 1 keep. We have bunnies for days. Bunnies for days. Can we draw the lands? Are we going to regret this? Oh, yeah, already regretting it. How about a Hinterland Sanctifier? Oh, an opponent cuts it down. Why'd you make me keep this? Comments. Why'd you make me keep the 1-lander? Who made up the stupid 1 land, 1 keep? Hey, okay, what genius made up the stupid 1 land, 1 keep rule? It's all working out. We hit land number 2, and we get to attack with a bunny. And all of our opponent's stuff is going to be really tapped. Like this Spyglass Iron, for example. Double tap, double life, up to 22. Imagine if we had a Johnny's Pride main down. Opponent, gonna crack the map and hits the land. Plays the land, hits us. Get in with a bunny. Yeah, I mean, let's Ride's End. It's kind of free since we get back a Ride's End anyway, and we get rid of the bat. Opponent. Preacher of the Schism. Gonna be tapped. Also, Authority of Council's Rides-In. Combo. That's what we call a combo in the biz. Tap it and then snipe it. How do you beat that? It's basically Splinter Twin. Pretty close. Opponent. Plays the creature land. Passes. Oh, Restoration Magic. Well, we would have rather had a land given the choice. Opponent. Oh boy. Enduring Curiosity. So why is Dimir one of my picks for best deck post-bannings? One of the answers is Kaido is a really good Planeswalker. Another of the reasons is Enduring Curiosity is kind of a messed up card advantage engine. Enduring Innocence in our deck is also very good. Very, very good. The difference is Enduring Curiosity is often more of a burst draw effect where you're able to just draw a whole bunch of cards in a single turn. Let's get in, hit ya. When we're kind of limited to once per turn. Opponent. Oh god, another Enduring Curiosity. Yeah. Magic is so funny because there's so many different axes to the game, right? So many different axes where you're like, you have your life totals, you have the battlefield, you have cards in hand. I feel like we are losing this game hugely to the point where we're probably going to concede in the relatively near future, even though we're at 19 and our opponent's at 16, because the axis we're losing on is the card advantage axis, and we just don't really have a way. Yeah, and the mana axis. The opponent's going to cut down the bunny. Well, Exemplar Blight resolves, but our opponents just, they draw too many cards. Like, this is just going to keep happening. They're going to draw 5 cards a turn. We're going to lose all of our creatures. I mean, we're 3-1 right now. Dimir kind of just spanked us last round. Oh boy, Dimir's looking pretty good. But otherwise, the decks look pretty good. Hedge Maze, eh? Well, this hand, I like that we have 2 Enduring Innocence. I feel like there's a pretty strong correlation between having an Enduring Innocence and this deck winning games. On a Hedge Maze, gonna be like Leyline Binding. Well, let's get down Enduring Innocence number 1. Smack you with the bat, pass the turn. And let's start gaining life. And I think we're just gonna pass. I think we just pass and make a fish. Ancient Cornucopia. Well, let's make a fish. Draw a card. We could use a Soul Sister. Hey, all right. Hinterland Sanctifier. That works. We're going to play an Enduring Innocence first, though, so we can draw more cards. Opponent. Are we playing counters? Apparently not. Or at least they don't have one currently. Get Lost to kill the Essence Channeler, eh? Yeah, I guess that's fine. I mean, not that we can do anything about it anyway. Might as well put the counters on the fish. Hit you down to 11. So our opponent's, I don't know what our opponent is. Some sort of controller mid-range deck? Bant mid-range? Bant control? 3 steps ahead. The desperation. It always feels so bad. It always feels so bad when you get a 3 steps ahead main phase just to draw. It's a pretty big sign that you're desperately digging for lands. Wow, they still didn't hit a land. Play the plains. Get down Hinterland Sanctifier. Finally start gaining some life to grow our dorks. Trigger the Enduring Innocence. Well, all right, here comes all the Soul Sisters. Oh, come on, opponent. Come on, opponent. Just die. Just accept the beatdowns. Opponent's gonna get lost. Gets rid of the Essence Channeler. I guess keep making a better fish. Actually, didn't even have any counters on it this time. Well, we do get to get down Exemplar Blight. Draw a card, gain some life. And hit you. Down to 7. I mean, opponent needs something this turn. Ancient Cornucopia. Sure. I mean, if they pass, they die, right? How do you not die? Ooh, another Enduring Innocence. Play the plains. Yeah, I mean, I guess we Enduring Innocence. Resolves. I mean, I guess if they kill the Exemplar, they live, right? They take 7 to 1. Plus they get to gain life Actually, no. They need to have something. So they need to kill the innocents. Okay, and that gains them enough life that they go to 1. I see. Yeah. So opponent kills the Exemplar with another Get Lost. Well, we will hit you. Down to 2. Well, pass the turn. Sunfall. Is this a double battle menu? We have 2 battle menus in our deck. One of the modes is make a 2/2. Our opponent's at 4. They don't have the mana to turn on their incubator. Battle menu in? Knights? We are now a Knights deck. 2/2 Knight. 2/2 Knight. Okay. Battle menu. coming in for the steal. All right. I did not expect to win with Xaxes with 2 battle menus. My God, maybe the person that said they play 4 Rex Ages and Elves was correct, because I feel like we're just bringing in these Cathar Commandos every single match. Almost every single match they're coming in. Maybe we are in a world where you just want main deck Artifact and Enchantment. On to game number 2. We are going to be on the draw for this one. Bant Control. I guess we're going to go with Bant Control. We saw the Sunfall. Bant Control versus Soul Sisters on a budget. And I gotta say, Soul Sisters, they seem reasonable. Gaining life seems like a thing that matters, once again. Play the Case of Aneen Feast. This hand seems fine. 2 Soul Sisters, 1 Pride Mate effect, land for our opponent. 2 Restoration Magics. Now let's just get down another Sanctifier, leave up the protection. Next turn we can play Essence Channeler, leave up the protection. Ancient Cornucopia. Well, play the land, and yeah, we gotta get a clock going, I think. Get down the Essence Channeler. Get a couple counters. It is scary that our opponent's playing Sunfall. Sunfall does get around our Restoration Magic plan, unlike Day of Judgment or Ultima or whatever, split up. But that one does. We also don't have our card draw going this game, which is a little concerning. Leyline Binding. Well, if they Leyline Binding the Essence Channeler, we're probably just gonna Restoration Magic. We might as well yeah, what else are we doing this turn? Restoration Magic, gain a life, trigger, grow, hit ya. Restoration Magic's felt pretty good. The fact that it gains life is the selling point for me. So even if we don't need protection, it still at least triggers our stuff. Well, all right. We're gonna try very hard to protect this Essence Channeler opponent. We will. Restoration Magic number 2. All right. Well, we got it 3 steps ahead out of our opponent's hand. It would be nice if we untap and drew a land. That would be the best. Well, I won't complain about Enduring Innocence, because long term, that is a card that we want. But land into Exemplar would have been ideal. Opponent passes. Well, how about a Hinterland Sanctifier? Trigger. Draw. A land. Okay. Finally a land. All right, we're doing it. What do we do with this Cathar Commando? Do you think it's worth... The Cornucopia is annoying, but they also have Leyline Binding. Opponent's gonna stock up. Yeah, all right. Continue. That's fine. I'm on the fence on whether it's worth blowing up the Cornucopia or not. Cutting off the mana doesn't matter too much at the moment, I don't think. Cutting off the life gain, it's hard to know how much that matters. Our clock isn't especially fast yet anyway. All right, double stock. Well, opponent's hand's gonna be good. Let's run out the Commando. I mean, this increases our clock at least. Finds 4 cards. I expect their hand should have what they want by now. I mean, they just went, what, 12 cards deep, 11 cards deep this turn? Found it. Land. Passes. Well, play the land. Might as well get down this Exemplar. A Wrath here would be tough. Battle menu, eh? Well, get in, hit you. Down to 8. Gain some life. All right. No Wrath. No Sunfall. Please, no Sunfall. I'm very afraid of a Wrath because they just triple stocked up. Okay, opponent. Either they are very unlucky and all of their Wraths are at the very bottom of their deck, or we are about to get Wrath. I mean, if you triple stock up and can't find what you're looking for, I don't know what to say. Like, you've seen so many cards. That's just That's kind of like whiffing with Satyr Wayfinder. It just shouldn't happen that often. Opponent land. I mean, opponent's short on Sunfall mana at least. That's good news. All right. Well, are you dead? Yeah. I mean, I don't know why your opponent's not scooping. We're gonna attack yet. I should have known. Aetherized. It's all they always have it. How did I not play around standard staple Aetherize? Well, all right. Cathar Commando. Get rid of that silly life gain. Yes, you can bounce our board. So our opponent did find a Wrath. It was just not the Wrath we were expecting. Sanctifier. Life. Card. Pass the turn. Well, good to know. I mean, that actually is kind of like standard Settle the Wreckage. Not as brutal because you just replay your stuff, but still, it is similar. If you attack all out, it can kind of get you. It's kind of like a super fog, I guess. I guess it's situation dependent. It definitely buys you a turn. Opponent. Gonna stop. I guess it works well with Split Up. That's kind of a combo. Splinter Twin alert. Bounce everything with Aetherize, so your opponent has to replay it untapped and then split them up. Well, how about an Essence Channeler? Draw a card. Gain some life. Wouldn't mind finding a Fountain Port. That would be decent. Well, case of an eaten face for days. Pass the turn. Ooh, Meringue River Regent. Discards a land. All right, about it. We might be able to salve our cases at some point, which is kind of relevant. Being able to replay the graveyard would actually be good since we got Split Up. I feel like this deck might actually be able to work. Like, we have enough card draw with Enduring Innocence that it feels like we played against Blue-White Control earlier. This is also a very controlling deck, and it doesn't really feel like we're out of it. You know, sometimes you're like aggro versus control, and control's got 7 cards. You have 1 card after they Wrath, and you're just like, oh, this, I'm not even close. It's not even close to being a game. It hasn't really felt like that against control. Like, it feels like we can just draw enough cards to more or less keep up with the control decks, which kind of impressive, actually. So we play this. I don't have any faith. Like, we could Sheltered by Coast to try to get in 1 point of damage, but I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's worth trying. We'll just attack, try to hit you to 1. All right, opponent takes it. Maybe it would have worked. Maybe it actually would have worked. Or maybe they have an Aetherize and didn't need to cast it because they weren't dying. Opponent passes. Okay. They gotta have Aetherize, right? They got to. I guess they could have a bunch of targeted removal. All right, let's play the Pridemate first. Get our triggers. Sadly, Aetherize gets around Restoration Magic too. Well, we get to draw some cards. We're drawing so many cards. We actually are just... This is a game our opponent casts 3 stock-ups, right? 3 stock-ups. And I think we are actually just drawing as many cards as they are. With our Ajani's Pridemates. Well, go to combat. We're just going to swing. You got an Aetherize? Boom. Sure. Sure, opponent. Sure. Bounce them all. Bounce them all. Case of uneaten fees. I mean, sooner or later, they're not going to have it. They're at 1. They're at 1. We need a gut shot. We need a literal gut shot. Gain some life. And we can always recast our graveyard. So I think sooner or later, we grind them out. Man, I mean, what is it? 48 to 1. So life total wise. All right, there is our fees. Case of uneaten fees finally being officially solved. I gotta say the deck it's actually worked pretty well. Soul Sisters might be back, which, oh my god, that's what they're doing. Doppelgang X a million. So I think it's kind of funny. So Doppelgang targets. So if we Restoration Magic our Enduring Innocence, it will fizzle that target. So they won't have a bunch of lifelinking blockers. Our opponent can still triple A-line binding. Get a bunch of lands. So none of this is good. Like Doppelgang. Doppelgang X3 usually wins the game. But our opponent's at 1. We need one point of damage. Opponent gonna go after the case, go after the creatures. Sure. Cornucopia to get some life gain going. Well, Fountain Port's actually kind of nice. Instant speed token, pretty good with the opponent at 1 life. Well, Ajani's Pridemate. Gain some life, grow it, draw a card. Well, since those are token copies, Sheltered by Ghosts, actually kind of a good answer to these Leyline bindings. It'd be a little sketchy if they were real and they'd come back, but we might as well get back an Essence Channel or get rid of one of the tokens, play the Fountain Port. We can still make a fish instant speed. All right, opponent, we're at 55. You're a 1, and there's the GGs, and that was a grind, but in the end, Soul Sisters in 2025 on a budget, getting it done in Standard. So what do we learn this week about Soul Sisters in Standard? Is Standard actually saved? And I would say, at least based on our first test, the answer is yes. We went 5-1 with budget Soul Sisters, and the deck actually felt pretty solid. Like, the combination of just growing big creatures, gaining a bunch of life, actually proved to be pretty effective against a lot of the decks in the meta. I also was surprised at how well the deck could draw cards. You could see the games with Enduring Innocence, oh my god, they felt so good. Not only can we be very aggressive, not only can we gain a bunch of life, which is helpful against aggro, we also had some games where we played against control, and we really kept up with, or even outdrew the control decks with Enduring Innocence and Exemplar of Light. And I gotta say, all around, the deck just felt oddly reasonable. So if you like gaining life, I actually think Soul Sisters, not that it's tier 1 or anything, but it does seem like a legit budget archetype that can absolutely win a ton of games. And we got to pull up some cool plays with the deck. I think my favorite play with the deck was definitely the Case of Uneaten Feast during our opponent's turn to get back the Cathar Commando to blow up our opponent's, what was it, Esper Terra that they had flipped or whatever. I didn't even realize that you could use Case of Uneaten Feast on your opponent's turn, because normally, since it lets you recast all your creatures, you always want to do it in your turn because you can only play creatures at sorcery speed. But it turned out that cracking a Case of Uneaten Feast on our opponent's turn with a single creature in the graveyard actually let us win the game. I also got to give a shout out to Cathar Commando. I know it's just a sideboard card, but I've been playing this card more and more and more. I actually had someone on stream the other day tell me that they're playing like 4 Rex Sages in all their elf decks because there's just so many good artifacts and enchantments to blow up. And the more I play with Cathar Commando, the more I find that I'm bringing it in almost every single matchup. So I'm starting to think maybe Cathar Commando should just be in the main deck more often, at least in some numbers, because it does seem like almost every deck you run into is going to have some sort of target for it. There's very few times when it's absolutely dead. And even when your opponent has no artifacts or enchantments, a 3/1 flash for 2 is actually not a horrible deal either. So that card really impressed me. Also, I'm starting to love Restoration Magic. That was the other card. I know all the Soul Sister stuff did what we expected it to do. It worked really well. Restoration Magic, though, the ability to save a creature, and then what surprised me the most, and it didn't actually happen in our games, but it would have happened eventually, but it was pretty easy to get in a point where we got up to 5 mana, and having a card that can protect our entire team and gain us life to trigger our stuff is super powerful. So we got to see it saving creatures, growing creatures with the life gain, and just the ability to give everything indestructible. Seems like it's going to be really relevant, especially once we get to rotation, because once we get to rotation, Sunfall's out of here, people are going to be using Ultima and Day of Judgment, and then Restoration Magic. I know 5 mana is a lot to tier it up, but still with Fountain Port, we can leave up mana, make fish at instant speed, and leave up the ability to Fizzle a Wrath. And when that happens, it's just going to be game winning a lot of time. When the control deck taps out for a Wrath, and you just fully tier Restoration Magic and save your entire team. It's like, if you've ever played Commander and had someone T-Pro out of the turn, and then they just come back and smash everyone to death the next turn after the board wipe resolves, that's essentially what we get to do with Restoration Magic in Standard. So, all around, I will say, Soul Sisters on a budget felt really good. Standard feels amazing right now. And we got to see some cool tricks with some of the new Final Fantasy cards. So anyway, that's Soul Sisters. That's our budget magic for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will talk to you soon.